Hi everybody, this content comes courtesy of Breitbart.com. The title is, I Love You All. Duterte embraces troops fighting Islamic State in Marawi. Philippines President Rodrigo Duterte made his second visit to the Islamic State-controlled city of Marawi on Friday, greeting soldiers and vowing to establish a trust fund for the education of children whose parents serve in the military. Marawi is the only officially Islamic city in the Philippines whose population is more than 90% Christian. Islamic State-linked terrorist groups Martel and Abu Sayyaf attacked the city in May, attempting to build a caliphate within the Philippines. The Philippine military has yet to successfully eradicate the Maute elements from the city, hampered by the dense urban landscape. Most civilian residents have fled Marawi, though the terrorists have trapped some hostages in the heart of the city. Friday's visit was the second trip to Marawi Duterte has made since the Maute group attacked the city in May. A Duterte aide told reporters that the visit was meant to boost morale and that it included an extended meet and greet with soldiers as well as an inspection of the medical post for soldiers injured fighting in the city. Rappler, a Philippine outlet, said Duterte spent an hour talking to soldiers, visiting those wounded in battle, and entertaining requests for selfies. I would have to note here that we don't see much of this type line of story on YouTube, but Duterte, the president of Philippines, is actually just as embattled as our own president, Donald Trump. The globalists hate him. He's interfering with their Muslim takeover. And they're trying to get rid of him just like they're trying to get rid of Trump. So I think Duterte deserves a lot of kudos for what he's doing, because he's standing up and speaking out and fighting back. And that's something everyone should do. I have to be here, he says, because I want all of you to know that I love you all, he said in an address to the active troops fighting there, according to the official Philippine government's announcement of his visit. I hope he will be able to clean up Marawi City and get rid of the terrorists. Duterte vowed he would establish a trust fund of $50 billion when he goes out of the presidency. He added that $50 billion will be dedicated solely to the education of your children. He cited the disparity between the rich and the poor as one of the nation's greatest challenges and promised to protect the futures of children whose fathers may die fighting against terrorists. Duterte declared a state of emergency in May following the initial attack on the city. Since then, an estimated 500 jihadis have been killed, while reports suggest that only 50 to 70 Maute terrorists remain in the city. Eyewitness and soldier reports indicate that many of those fighters are teens and young adults, as the Maute group relies in part on recruiting and indoctrinating children to fight in their jihad. We've seen this before. This is nothing new. It even reached back into Africa when they were recruiting children to fight there. Despite the relatively small number of terrorists remaining in the city, Duterte has refused to use airstrikes or target areas such as mosques that are cornerstones of the civilian community, complicating the fight against the terrorist group. So, no matter what else you hear, Duterte is protecting civilians. He's not, I know they'll probably come out and say he's bombing civilians and killing innocent people, but that's just part of the propaganda war against him. Don't buy it. Another issue making the complete liberation of the city more difficult is the extensive use of explosives by the terrorists on the ground there. How many explosions and high-rise building fires have we seen lately? A lot. On Wednesday, Philippine senators confirmed that Duterte has demanded the legislature fund the recruitment of 20,000 more soldiers, both to handle the Marawi situation and remain prepared for any future Islamic State attacks. Sounds to me like Duterte's on top of everything. He wanted to relay to us that he needs 20,000 more soldiers for the entire armed forces of the Philippines. Senate Majority Leader Vicente Sotto confirmed to ABS-CBN, a national outlet. During his annual State of the Nation address in July, Duterte lamented how long the siege of Marawi has continued, with tens of thousands of residents still displaced, unable to return home. He called the attack a terrible blow to our quest for peace by an alien ideology. A week before that speech, Duterte predicted that in 10 to 15 days, it'll already be okay in Marawi, a prediction that did not materialize. Again, this comes from Breitbart.com, and the writer is Francis Martel, August 4th, 2017. Get over to Breitbart and get some good news. Have a nice day.